They don't even know till your testimony show. They want what you got, but they don't even know. Been delivered from a whole lot of pain, but Jesus had my back. Yeah. They want what you got, but they don't even know.
Hello, everybody. I am back. This is Tami Laguerre, and I am back with another testimony edition of Tami, You Talk Too Much. Everybody knows that I absolutely love a great overcoming story, and I love it when we can empower the body of Christ. Everybody knows that about me, so why not take that to social media? And today I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Ebonee James. Ebonee James is a counselor. She's a mental health counselor. And she just recently released a book. I'm so excited for her. Everybody cheer. Yes. So that book is called Humility, and we're going to be talking about that book today, and just also information about in the Christian community. This is it seems a little taboo, but there are some things that we need to talk about in the Christian community regarding mental health. And Ebonee is with us today to be able to talk about that.
Hi,
so Ebonee,
I am good. I'm good. It's nice to be here. I'm a little nervous, but thank you for having me on the show, really. I do appreciate this.
Absolutely. Y'all tell her we family. She don't have to be nervous. We're here. We're wanting to empower the body of Christ. We're wanting to empower people out there, because who doesn't need to make sure that they're taking care of their mental health? Mental health is very, very serious. And I know, I can be a little giddy and I laugh a lot, but mental health is definitely serious. And I want to make sure that we're able to talk about it, one with someone who is in that industry, and also a little bit later be talking about just the people that she's able to assist in working through that. Of course, I truly and firmly believe, so I'm going to say this from the very beginning, that, as a believer in Christ, I believe that both are important. I believe that we do have a God that we can go to and that we can rely on and be cleansed and whole in his presence. But there are people to help you also walk along the hardships that may come in your life, and some of those feelings that you may not be able to express to anybody else. And so I think that they're twofold. I think that they can definitely work together, and it is important, I believe, to make sure that you do everything that you can to make sure that you're mentally healthy for somebody else, that you'll be able to not only do great things that God has empowered for you to do for you, but then also the things that he has called for you to do to the people, for the people that are attached
Thank you.
to
I
you,
would
right?
love to just speak on that too. All of us need help. All of us need help, and taking care of yourself is so hard. I don't think people understand the amount it takes to really keep yourself healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. All of us go to church. Well, not all of us, but we go to church on a weekly basis. So that's on a weekly basis. We're doing something to keep us intact. So all of us need help. We all need those people to just kind of assist us along. Like, we're all a team down here. Help me. Help me keep pushing to the finish line. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with receiving help.
Yes, I think that's very important, to receive help and to be surrounded by people who are like-minded as well. And we'll get into that. Hopefully, we'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm going to start asking some questions, because I know the people out there want to know some things about mental health. Like, I'm ready to hear some things that can assist me in my walk and in my regular life, or maybe somebody else that is close to me. So, but before we get into all of that, I wanted to find out a little bit about the therapist journey, because as you stated, and as we stated, we're both believers, right? And so, it's a little taboo, as I said before, with some believers, and some people believing that, you don't need any therapist or counselor or anything like that. There are some that believe that. So what would you say to that? But before we even get to that piece, how did you decide, like, this is something that I believe, even as a Christian, that I want to begin to do and take on as a career?
Well, it all started, no, I'm just kidding. Let me see. Back in college, it's so funny, the term mental health, because I didn't even recognize the term mental health until possibly like 5 years ago, when it kind of exploded in society. But my senior year in college, on my 21st birthday, I just became so filled with so much anxiety, fear of the unknown, because I was afraid to graduate. I didn't know what was next for me. And my confidence level just completely depleted. And back then I didn't know it, but I kind of had my own mental health breakdown. I was afraid to go outside. I stopped speaking to everyone. I was social isolating. And then when I did go out, I was so afraid to talk because I just thought everyone was judging me. So after going through that experience throughout the entire year, I did not enjoy my senior year at all. And I look back and I'm just like, well, I had everything that I needed around me. I had people that loved me. I had people that were supporting me, but something inside of me was just telling me completely different. Like, no one likes you. No one loves you. You're a failure. Wow. Everyone doesn't believe in you. So dealing with that myself kind of really triggered this spark in me to kind of want to help other college students, because I've started my college career off really strong, but I finished it weak. And that's detrimental, because you can't start something off strong and finish it not as strong. You have to finish it strong as well. So that's when I became passionate about helping that age group between those 17 and 22 year olds, because they're dealing with a lot. They're dealing with trying to figure out who they are while still respecting their family values. They're figuring out what they want to do with their career. They're getting their heart broken. They're breaking other people's hearts. they're partying. They're doing drugs. It's so many other factors that play. Yeah, it's life. Yeah, I feel like, okay, let me rephrase it. I just feel like that age group, people don't take their life experience seriously because they're so young. Like, oh, you're young, you're doing what you're supposed to do at that age. But in actuality, they're dealing with real life issues that will maybe impact them for the rest of their lives if they don't get it right now.
Right. And then they go to that part where it seems like they're in high school, right? And the parents are doing everything and kind of guiding them through everything. And then maybe the parents are kind of like, woo, they're gone now. And you're an adult and figure it out. And you're in the real world. And yes, there's still some assistance, but at the same time, there's that level of responsibility that you have to start to maintain and manage, and that could be
it's just a lot just put on you. Like, one day you're chilling,
right?
And then the next day, here's a car note.
I like how you said
right. Yeah, here's a car note. There you go.
Like, you're an adult.
Go find your first apartment. What? I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Get out. Right. So you said
very
you
confident.
Started off very strong,
extroverted, so you're loving, filled with confident. Hope. Ended in complete despair.
Right. Despair. And do you feel like it was because of the responsibility that was coming, or do you just feel, what was it? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't want to guess it. What was it that made you feel like floating on cloud nine, and then you go from there to,
I think that,
oh my goodness, this is just too much?
Well, if you are a therapist and you go through any counseling program, you already know that they kind of encourage you to self-reflect. So since I started off in this field in 2016, I've been self-reflecting my entire life. So now I think that at first I just thought that, oh, I was
Right.
just afraid of the unknown. But when I dig deeper, just a little bit deeper, I was starting to lose relationships that were important to me already. So my junior year is when my father, he ignored me for an entire year. He said he didn't, but when I called him, he would not pick up the phone. And that was my first time ever truly experiencing heartbreak, feeling rejected by my father. Like, you know, those love songs, R&B songs that I was saying, I can't breathe, I can't eat. You know, when you're younger, you singing them, but you don't understand it. You didn't really think that it's true. But that was the first time I really felt like pain in my stomach, heavy breathing over another human being because I was hurt by them. Yeah, heartbreak.
It's like
just
heartbreak.
being rejected, and I think that kind of made me a little bit more, you know, just pull back a little bit more, and then along with stepping into a new role, wanting more, but feeling like I don't have enough, you know, the confidence levels. And I went to Howard. Shout out to Howard University, HBCU. That's where I was at.
Shout out. Whoa, let's go. Wait a minute. We cannot pass up a chance to give them a little bit of applause.
Yes.
My goodness.
You know, nah. But, and I was in DC, and I will say this. I respect Howard's curriculum now. I appreciate everything that they taught me now, but going through it was difficult. They definitely knew how to challenge the areas where you need to strengthen. And, you know, when you're at a certain point in life, you don't understand why are they picking on this insecurity of mine. You know, they're supposed to be encouraging me to make it better, but they're being mean to me about it. You know, so I wasn't able to understand when professors were being extremely hard on me, that was their way of pushing me and encouraging me. I was just like, these people do not support me. They don't respect me. But in actuality, they helped me out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at it now and you say, oh, man,
definitely.
They stretched me. They stretched my capacity. Because you can go somewhere else and not necessarily feel that. And you don't even realize it. When you go into a workplace and those things begin to happen, and someone else, maybe a coworker, is really freaking out about it and really, you know, stumped about it. And you're thinking,
a lot of stuff just slide off my shoulders now. Like, oh, we don't have any materials to get this job done. Watch me make it happen anyway. We're going to use each other. Yes, most definitely.
And that stretched your capacity, right? It made you, so that's a good thing. So I'm glad that you were able to reflect on that.
Yes, let them stretch you. And if someone is telling you about an insecurity of yours, do not break down. Accept it and do what you have to do and overcome it. That's what life is about. I was just like,
that's right.
You're hurting me. You're hurting my ego.
But listen, I didn't go to Howard, so I don't have no T-shirt to hold up. But I will say that the Lord has placed so many people in my life along the way, recently, within the last couple of years, and then sprinkled throughout my life, but more so recently, that has stretched me beyond what I've ever been stretched, right? And so that's a good thing. I think that that's also healthy for our mental, right? To be stretched outside of your comfort zone and not stagnant in one place. So that's important, to make sure that you keep a healthy mindset by stretching a little bit and seeing what you can do, because what's in us, you'll never know it's in you until you allow people in your life to push that button and see what's in there. Like poke the bear,
honestly, right now I'm looking for people to hold me accountable. If I feel as though you're going to be too nice or you're going to hold back, I don't want you around me. Because I need honesty. Like, seriously, I don't want people that's too nice around me, because why are you afraid to speak your truth and speak up? And why are you afraid to not tell me what I'm doing wrong? I'm not an intimidating person. I'm a loving person. Help me. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. It's so important.
That's important.
And I don't know.
Important.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if you watch.
My goodness.
What's his name? Tim Ross podcast. It's okay. No, he's
Tim
cool, but he used that same metaphor of poking the bear, but he used it in like the tea bag way, where he would say, you don't know what's the flavor of the tea bag is until you pour it in a boiling hot, a cup of water, and you let it boil up and then let it come out. And then when you taste it, that's when you know, like, oh, this is peach flavored tea, or this is Thai tea. So you truly don't know who you are or what's truly inside of you until you are in like a hot, chaotic, situation. What's going to come out of you? How are you going to handle this situation? Yeah. And if you do melt down the first time, it's okay. That's really good. Because next time when something happens, something else is going to stir up inside of you. And God is going to create something new. What's going to come out next time? Maybe hope. That's good. So, yeah. I love that metaphor.
That's good. I like that. I said poke the bear, I just pulled that out the top, but I like that. I really do. And that's so true. That's so true. I'm actually living it, but I didn't come up with the way that he came up to say it. So that was really, really good. Now, before we forget about why we're here, I want to talk about this book that you wrote, Humility. Can you please tell us a little bit about the book?
Where should I start? Going back to that self-reflection. Okay,
well, why is it
called humility?
Humility.
It's called humility because I asked God. I said, God, I'm writing this book. I need a title for it. And then the term humility came out. And I was like, okay, cool. I can dig it. And then I was like, God, I need a book cover. And then he showed me the book cover in my dreams. So I try to base my book cover off what I saw in my dreams. Whatever. But
right. Now,
yes, it's me.
It's the book,
last
the book
year,
covers you, right?
Valentine's Day when I first cut my hair, but that was the first time after my long period of grief, because I lost a lot. And when I say grief, I'm not just talking about someone's death. I'm talking about lost dreams. I'm talking about hope, a loss of identity, trying to just move past, not past a lifestyle that you didn't expect will become yours, if that makes sense.
Right. So you dealt with a lot of things in your life, a lot of grief. Well, did you want to expand on any of that, of just anything that was going on with you at that time? And then not just that, grief, because that birthed the book,
the idea of grief definitely was the foundation of why I wanted to start the book. So,
right.
And can I tell you, while writing this book, it taught me so much about myself. Like, I did not realize this, but I do not do well with loss. I hold on tight, and it's hard for me to move on from anything because I just want to keep reliving those happy memories. That's a problem. I'm working on it. But, yeah, so
well, you identified it, so that's good.
So in 2019, my best friend, she passed away suddenly. The night before she passed, it was like in my head, like something kept telling me, Ebonee, call her. I didn't call her. Next day I found out she died, and that was something that I've been having a hard time trying to get over. It was due to mental health reasons why she did pass. So that's the fact that it just burns me to this day. I'm trying to get over it, and everybody says it's not your fault. I know. But that's one of the reasons. And then a few months later, I also lost another close friend to a car accident. And then I was in a PhD program. Everybody who knows me always knew that I always wanted to be a college professor. I lost I left my PhD program, and then that was another grief for me because I'm like, I'm walking away from a dream that I always wanted. What am I supposed to do with my life now? So I was dealing with, I thought that I wanted something my entire life, and when I had it, I walked away from it. I lost 2 close friends that were important to me. Now I'm back at home. I don't like this lifestyle. I'm nowhere where I thought that I would be. I worked so hard throughout my entire life, and now I have nothing. So I'm dealing with this nothingness. I'm dealing with this guilt. I'm dealing with this grief, and I'm dealing with not liking myself anymore. Because for me, a big thing for me was my character. I always thought that I always value integrity. I always value being a good friend, being a good sister, showing up for people. So the fact that I wasn't able, that's why I became a therapist. I love showing up for others, and I love helping people. So the fact that I was not able to help my friend killed something inside of me. It killed my perspective of my own self, if that makes sense. Because I'm thinking I'm a great person, a great friend who's able to show up. Those were my strengths. And I was unable to use my strengths in that situation. So am I really that person that I thought that I was?
Right. And so that at that time, that's what birthed the book. You had to express yourself. Tell us about the book. Tell us some things in the book, or maybe a passage or something in the book that captured that moment for you, and you were able to express it and get it out. I know that we're talking about some heavy stuff, and so I don't want individuals to think, well, man, she dealt with heavy stuff. Well, we all do, but there's things and ways to get through that, and I'm grateful that you're here to kind of talk through that and show us some of the things that you did, even as a therapist, that you had to do for yourself, even as a counselor, that you had to do for yourself. And one of the things is give back. How wonderful is that? To write in this book and to be able to let those things out and to express yourself. So if there's something that you want to share.
First of all, we did not speak on quarantine, COVID, right? That was a huge thing. So she passed November 2019, and then March 2020 is when the world shut down. And that's when everybody was kind of forced to be in a house, right? Let me tell you this. I was not in a house 2020. I worked every single day of 2020. I did not quarantine. Heck no. I could not be in a house with my guilt and shame. No, I was out working, helping other people, having a good time. And guess what? 2022, I am in my own quarantine. This is why I look like this. I've been looking like this all year. Exactly. Yes.
You're quarantining when everybody else is out.
All year long, I've been in the house. God has been shutting down all of my my goals, my plans, and this is how this book really came. I started in January. I finished in April. I didn't really put it out until September, but no, you cannot do this. Write this book. That's how it really came. That was the thought. Because first I had the thought, like, I want to write a book. He's like, okay.
Yes.
And then when I tried to do anything else but write this book, he shut the plan down. So, cancel. No, you cannot go to Jamaica. No, you cannot go to your friend's house. No, you cannot go to homecoming. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but like all of the things that people were complaining about in 2020, and I'm just like, y'all be all right. I get it now, and I'm sorry. And look at my hair.
Yes. But look what was birthed.
So this is the cover.
Let us see the cover. So that's humility.
A picture of me in cartoon form from Valentine's Day last year.
Okay.
And also a big thing for me is love and relationships. The goal of this book, another goal of this book, was to educate young adult females on how not to lose themselves in a relationship, but to really build a relationship with God. Because if you don't have that strong identity in Christ, I believe that it's easy, especially for the young female, to give everything away to a man. And that's a huge theme that I see. And then they go through all these chaotic relationships. And, you know.
Listen. let's rewind that, because I want to make sure that, as this discussion happens, this is a discussion. We're talking about things like that, and that is pivotal. I know we are in
I'm not too far
age
from
brackets.
you. Yeah.
But, I didn't grow up with a father or a mother. My grandmother raised me. Some that would have looked at the other Tami talk too much, they would know that. But if this is your first time, hey. I didn't grow up with a father, which, you go looking for that. You want that. And so you look for that in other people and men, and then other stuff. And so I think that's good that you mentioned that, because people do that. Young girls, they don't have that figure, or maybe the dad's in the house, but he doesn't really pay attention to you, or he doesn't spend that time. He doesn't show you what you deserve as a person. And so you go try to find that in somebody else. And so I am a prime person to speak on that, because I should have learned and knew my identity a long time ago, but not having that and having that abandonment and going through all of that, you figure it out. Now, I don't regret anything, because my life is going to help somebody out. I remember a pastor telling me, when you get free, you're going to get somebody else free. Okay. Hallelujah.
That's good.
So I don't regret the past. But
I definitely regret some relationships.
You regret some things.
He's working on me. He's working.
Yeah. Everything's meant to grow you. Everything's meant to grow you. If you look at it like that, you'll be way better than you were then. You'll be way better in the future. And so, for me, I know personally that had a huge thing to do with how I received and how I handled myself when it came to relationships and men and other stuff. And this ain't the segment for that, but I just wanted to shed some light on that, because that is so true. Said that is so true.
Young women try to look for their father in these men, right? While growing up, I would hear that statement all the time, but I did not believe it. Like, I don't really believe that, whatever. On the surface level, people say that, but on the deep-rooted level, it's true. You're not really looking for your father. You're looking for that security that a father figure represents. And I think that's what people overlook, because when you don't feel secured and knowing that you have somebody backing you up in your corner, no matter wherever you are in your life or wherever you go, out in the world, there's a sense of feeling like you're alone. And I think that's the difference between having a healthy family or parents behind you and not having that parent figures behind you. And I'm just now realizing that because my uncle, he did something for me just this past week. And then this sense of security came. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how people with fathers feel. I feel so secured. I feel empowered. I feel confident. That's what I was missing. So,
wow. Yeah. And so you have that in your book, like you have some pieces in there to kind of talk to that point.
Of neglect,
with young
of feeling rejected.
And there's and that does go into the mental health, right?
Yes, in my goal, because when we think about mental health, right, we think about those big things. We think about depression, we think about anxiety, but I intentionally didn't put those symptoms or those diagnoses in this book because I wanted to focus on real life situations that happens to us, but we don't have a term to use. So that codependency factor or that feeling of rejection, all of us deal with that in a way, or feeling of neglect. How does that look like? How does that affect our behaviors in relationships after we're really dealing with that? So, and this is, this is my first copy. So I've written all over it. I'm sorry. But, you can't really see it, but if you can see some of the titles, the fear of failure, fear, people pleasing, rejection, codependency, addiction, failed expectations. So I try to keep it what, human beings tend to go through and what they kind of overlook of what's impactful.
Yeah, that's also good stuff. That's some good stuff. The number one thing that stood out for me, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, and people pleasing. I didn't realize I was doing it, and I was deep in it. I just took a nosedive in people pleasing. And man, you realize that you also become the person that makes someone else expect that from you because you've done it so much. And then when you set those boundaries, you start to see a difference.
They start
in
turning.
People. And so, man, that one right there. Right.
No,
right. So
yeah. And for
topic,
me, I was just speaking to somebody the other day about people pleasing, and they didn't truly understand the real definition of it. They're thinking that it's somebody that will, do drugs or smoke to fit in with the crowd. And yeah, that is a form of people pleasing, but people pleasing goes deeper than just doing drugs to fit in with the crowd, right?
Well, give us some examples, because like I just said a moment ago, I didn't realize that I was doing it until I had to really do what you stated earlier, which is self-reflect. Start looking at some different things and educate myself on how I can set better boundaries and how I can keep my mental health together, because a lot of it has to do with people, whether we people. But you know what? We have say on that, and so a lot of my mental health came from people. So, but you don't realize it, and so give us some ideas of some things that we could be doing as people that would be considered people pleasing.
So
and
people pleasing, can come into it. Can look like empathy. It's for those empathetic people that says, oh, I just feel my emotions deeply. I can take on other people's emotions in a way that's unhealthy. I know that you can feel other people's emotions deeply, but you shouldn't take on other people's emotions because that's their experience. You need to keep your own experience to yourself and allow them to live their own experience. But people pleasing can be you neglecting your own needs to satisfy your friends. So, for example, if you only have $100 and you see your friend wants some new shoes from the store and they're $50, but you know that it takes $30 of gas and you need $40 to feed yourself until your next paycheck, but you still give her $50 because you want her to like you. That's a form of people pleasing. Just giving your stuff away, just giving all of you away because you're nice or you like to, love on people. But in a way, you're not giving all of that stuff away because you're nice. You're giving all of that stuff away to receive love back. And that's just unhealthy in a sense.
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to say that one more time. You're not giving that stuff away because you're nice. You're giving that stuff away because you want what?
You want that validation, that sense of security that you belong.
Right. That sense of security, that security shows up again, right? Wow. I love that. I think that, again, a lot of people don't realize that they're doing it. They just call themselves nice. I think in the Christian community, we give because we're told that we should give. But the first thing that we have to do is make sure that we have enough supply for ourselves to give.
Come on.
You can't give, you don't have. But we'll tell ourselves we have it.
But you don't.
Like, I have it all together. And I have all of this time to give. And I have all of these emotions to give. And I have it. Because
time. Oh my gosh. That's another reason why I wrote this book. To save people time. Yes. No. No.
We tired. We can't get things done that the Lord has commissioned and commanded us to do
Yes.
because we're all over the place. And so, I had to learn that.
No.
And hey, I'm not the therapist on here. She is, y'all. But but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I've had to figure it out for myself, But in that, you find your identity.
Yeah.
You find a
Most
piece of
definitely.
you find you, and there is nothing better. And then you have to give. But the first task is to make sure that you are equipped enough to do it. And I think people pleasing, we fall, we fall in a category where we feel like, this isn't going to get done
yes.
if I don't do something about it, if I don't get in it.
Right here.
And if I don't get done.
Yes, it is. I was going to ask you. Okay,
is that
so
in there?
so this is a poetry book, everyone, but I really wanted to highlight the mental health aspect. So I have some check boxes that kind of highlight symptoms that I go over. So my definition of people pleasing. Do you mind if I read it? And I can read. Okay. All right. I'm going to read my definition and I will read, I guess, a few things of the list that qualifies under people pleasing. So my definition is a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. And then some of the symptoms is you are a fixer. You hate to see anyone hurt, afraid, sad, or uncomfortable. You try to solve other people's problems. You expect perfection and hold yourself to high standards. You may crave validation, even if you don't realize it. You resent others, or you resent always being asked to do more, in which people would consider your own feelings and needs, but you're so used to just putting yourself out there that no one takes no one consider your needs anymore because they just know this is the go-to person to fix our problems. I don't say it like that, but and I also put and then I also put you're sensitive to criticism. And I believe that comes from just being so hyper focused on everybody else's problems that when somebody tune into you and an issue that you may have, you're unable to receive it because you're like, I'm perfect in a way. I do all of these things for other people. I do this for her and that. How can you dare say something like that about me? But no, baby, you're, you're just doing so much. You're giving so much of yourself away that you're not whole anymore. Go back to yourself.
Yeah. So where does perfectionism fall in there?
I also speak on perfectionism a little bit too, and it's just within my own story because I feel like a lot of people may not even realize that they are trying to be perfect. But for me, that ties under my perfectionism comes from fear of failing, fear of not getting those things that I really want in life, and fear of being rejected. Hold on.
We're having a little bit of a connection issue. And we hope that Ebonee is able to come back. We'll give it a second, you guys, and just double check, and hopefully Ebonee is able to get back on. Sometimes that happens. I really hope you all are enjoying yourself. I'm really enjoying this. I know some of you could definitely relate to the people pleasing and the perfection. Hey.
Hi. I don't know.
You're back. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So perfectionism for me, it ties under, from my personal experience, it ties under fear of failing and fear of being rejected. And that perfectionism comes in when you are just trying to do everything right so nothing in your life can go wrong. So you get tied up in, let me make this person happy so we can have a happy relationship. Let me go above and beyond so I can get this job that I want or make this amount of money that I supposed to have to be considered successful, you know, and that cycle never ends because you're constantly comparing yourself and you're constantly trying to complete a goal that's probably not even yours in the first place. You're just trying to satisfy this unrealistic need. So you won't get hurt inside, you know, or you
try
won't
to satisfy a goal that is probably not even yours in the first place.
Yeah. That's a lot of
deep. That's deep. Oh my goodness. I know that hit home for somebody out there, but hey, we're here to help. We're here to help so you can identify some things and be able to move forward with a healthy mindset. You know, if no one speaks about it, if no one talks about some of the things that they have personally gone through, and you as a therapist, you have been very candid and very transparent about some of the things that you've gone through. And I know I myself have talked about things. And so if we don't talk about it, then how is there a resolve, right?
Yes, and I have a very soft spot in my heart for young ladies when it comes to chasing after these goals that may not even be yours. So, for example, trying to commit to the wrong person. You know, I believe in church, marriage is a big deal, but sometimes if you're so excited to be married, you are most likely not using your gift of discernment to make sure that this is the person God said that you know, that's for you. And I feel like a lot of women get caught up in wanting to be married, that they commit, and God is saying no, no, no. But now it's too late because you're married. You're in this relationship and you're looking around like, oh my gosh, this person and I do not get along at all. This person and I don't click. He's mean to me. I feel small. I'm losing my confidence. So this is why I also wrote this book. So young women will know who they are and will have a healthy relationship with themselves. Yes, identity and who they are, identity in Christ, which is important because if you don't have that relationship with God, He can't tell you who's for you and who's not for you. And God and Jesus, they're so cool. Like, Jesus is my best friend. He's so real. Like, he's one of the realest people that I know, to be honest.
Period.
He will speak to you and he will tell you straight up, right in the moment.
Listen, I gotta share this because you're saying something, and I have to share this story. Of course, everyone knows I'm married to like the best man in the world, Mr. Laguerre. And I've been through some things, but I got me one, right? But the thing about it is with my marriage is I was, in a whole nother lifestyle. I gave myself to Christ. He called me, I answered it. That's just the way I'm going to say it. He called me and I answered the call. And when I answered the call and I didn't know, I was at a phase of my life where I didn't know if I even wanted to be married anymore. It was just like, okay, it's just me and King Jesus and we're going to do this thing out. Right. And so I remember, finally meeting my husband and doing all these things and getting engaged and all that. And I remember on my wedding day, because prior to that, listen, I needed like every confirmation every other week. I was like, Lord, you going to give me one more?
Right.
Is there one more confirmation
you sure?
got for me? Are you sure? And so I remember the day of my wedding, going in my closet, because I had my prayer closet. Everybody, get you an altar in your house now. Don't play no games. He's in there. He's in the room. We carry him with us everywhere we go, but make sure there's a place that just inside you and him can connect. But I remember in my prayer closet, I got down on my knees and I had my Bible and I'm clutching it because I get married in like 2 hours, right? 2-3 hours, somewhere around there. It's a little window. I was getting ready to head down to the church and I asked him again. I said, Lord, if this man is not who you want me to marry, I know and asked you about 15, 17, 18, 19 times. But if this is not the man for me, Lord, I will not do it. I don't care if it's 2 hours away. I don't care. I won't show up. I'll tell him no. I want to make sure you're in it, because they say what a 3-braided cord is not easily broken.
Oh.
And so I wanted to make sure I was not yoking myself to somebody that the Lord didn't tell me to yoke myself to, because I got things to do in the kingdom. He said so.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
I got on my knees and I was like, Lord, please tell me if this is the man, because I want to hear you loud and clear. And I opened up that word, and bam, just like he did when he said, get out of that relationship with that woman. But the same way, he told me that this was my husband. And
Yes.
so I
Ooh.
know
sounds
that
so
even
beautiful.
the good or the bad or the ugly, God said it. And so it stands. And so I got up and I said, okay. And I did it. But that's what you were just saying. You know, you want to make sure that you have a relationship, not a churchship.
Come on.
And, you know, but you have a relationship with the Lord, so that when you are talking to him and you go to him and you put all your everything before him, he has an answer for you. And I don't think a lot of people do that when they want to get married. They see somebody and they think they're cute, or they maybe can afford them, or they have nice things, or whatever, or they just look good on their arm. I don't know. But they don't consult the Father for that. And I can honestly say, for my situation, I talked to the Lord and I asked, and he gave me an answer. He straight up, he gave it to me. He told me what it was. He told me the tea. And I said, okay, come on in here, Mr. Laguerre, let's do this. So it's good that you said that. I had to put that in there, because he will answer you.
Yes, he will. He will. And I love how you highlighted a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you, when you, how did you start to work on your relationship with God, and what that looked like?
How did I start out
Or
with my
before
relationship
you got
with God?
married? Yeah, like, let's speak to the single ladies, because I'm single.
Oh! Okay. Well, listen.
So, like, your relationship, what did that look like before you got married, and before you were able to have that close, intimate, and honest relationship with God, and ask him, is this the husband for me? And he answered you right on the spot. How did you get to that point?
Well, let me tell you, where my husband now sleeps, my Bible was. I was that. Like, when I would wake up in the middle of the night, baby, my Bible was in that spot where my spouse was going to be. I did not play no games.
I love it. Yes.
I didn't, because I've been there, done that. When you go through a lot and you know you have an encounter with God.
Yes.
Come on. When you have an encounter with him and he talks to you and he snatches you out of some stuff that you never thought you'd be out of. My Bible was in the spot where my husband now lays. Now my Bible on my nightstand and my husband in that spot, but the Bible's still in the room.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So I was serious about it. So when he would wake me up at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, or whatever.
Yes, and you would get. He stayed waking people up in the middle of the night. Like,
yes, he did. Like, he had me. I was like, what's going on? Who here? What you want? What you need?
Yes.
And so I put him first, and I got involved in a serious Bible-based church that preaches the word, and then also encourages strong, healthy relationships. And so I just got involved in the church, and I served wholeheartedly. I think I was on every ministry at the time. I think I was in every. Listen, if you got a need, I'm gonna feel it. And so I did that. I got involved in church, and then I just spent a lot of time with the Lord. Anytime that I had time, I spent time with him. And I made time to spend time with him. I was living in the world, but I was making sure that he was my world, and then the world came in after that. And so that way, when you do that and you go to him, it's not foreign for either one of you. And it's not awkward for either one of you. And so that's how I was able to hear the first and the second and the third and the fourth, and even I didn't even understand the dream when it came to me that it was my husband. But
What's
I
the
said all that
dream?
to say is, to have a relationship, it's just like any other relationship. God wants your
That's so
time.
true.
He wants to
Yeah.
be first. He wants to know that you care and that you love him and that you do the things that he's asking you to do. It's just like if you're not ready
Yes.
for a relationship with God, you ain't ready for no relationship with a man.
Or no one else, to be honest.
Because the man's gonna
Yeah.
want all of the things that the Lord wants.
Yeah.
He's gonna want honesty. He's gonna want you to be there when he needs you.
Yes. He needs reliability.
He's gonna
Yeah.
want, get up 2 a.m, 3 a.m. Like he's gonna want. And so if you're not able to maintain that relationship, then you're certainly not gonna be able to maintain a relationship with a spouse. And I'm not the therapist here. I just been there and done that.
When you go through things, no, I always say, like, I told you this before, not on camera, but I'm trying to run away from that title of therapist and go more to like the self-healer. I believe
Right,
once
you did.
you go through things and you learned how to, get through them on your own in a healthy way, in a
Yeah.
faithful way, you become a healer and you're able to use your own story and your own knowledge to help other people. And I think that should be the point for
Yes.
all of us.
Yeah.
Try to heal ourselves while, helping everyone else. I want everyone to get along type of person.
Everybody to get along with us. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. We all need somebody that's a peacemaker, right?
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
brings in the peace. And so there's a part for everybody that's supposed to do something within the kingdom. So, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as your
Yes.
motive is good, right?
Right. That is true.
As long as
And
the
real
motive
quick.
and the intent behind it is good, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But
And I want to
before
know.
we move on, I don't want to, did you want to read anything out of your book? I know you said there's some poetry in there. Is there anything
yeah.
that you wanted to touch base on?
Yeah. And I
before
wanted
we
to
kinda
hear about
get
your
ready to
dream
close
real
it
quick.
out?
Oh my gosh. It's almost over already.
Isn't that fun, right? Y'all
It's
tell me you
fun.
ain't no
And we
games.
just
I love having
started. I know. I thought they was going to play a game or something. I was ready.
Maybe I'll definitely have you back on your second book. Right?
Okay.
On your
Yes,
second
yes,
book.
yes.
we'll have you back.
Read a poem. I'm scared. Let me see.
She's scared, you guys. I can't
I
believe
will
it.
say, can I speak on trauma real quick?
Absolutely.
No, not trauma. I have trauma in here, but grief.
Grief.
Grief was one of the reasons why I wrote this book, and I wanted to just highlight some of the things that I wrote on what grief looks like,
Okay.
or what can trigger grief.
Okay.
So it goes back to relationships, losing, or when you're younger, you're in that process in transition of losing a lot of friends, gaining new friends, moving around. So losing friends, having your friends not want to be your friend anymore can trigger grief. Losing a job that you really wanted can trigger grief. And
Yes.
losing a lot of money at once. Listen, I was good for totaling my car and having to pay for a new car when I was younger. So losing like $5,000 on something you worked hard on, that's grief. Not knowing who you are anymore. When you believe that you are someone and then you realize that you're not that person, that can trigger a whole identity crisis, almost, aka grief, because you lost that part of you. But let me see. I'm scared.
Grief is a big one.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that. Friendships, all that stuff. It's not talked about.
What about church?
I've had a
That
lot
church
of
hurt.
grief in that.
Yeah. Walking away from a church.
Church hurt is grief too. Yeah. I really, if I can be honest, I don't like that saying that word, those words.
Church hurt, right?
When
I don't ever say it, but
get kind of turned off about it.
why don't you like it?
I instantly kind of frown up, like it's inside, and it didn't used to bother me, but now when I hear it, I just stop that. Don't say that. We'll go ahead.
Why does it bother you?
Why does it bother me? Because I don't believe that the church hurt the person. A lot of times we have our own internal things that are going on with us, but the church is an easy target.
Yeah.
And so, and a whole church is kind of hard for a whole church to hurt you. I believe that maybe there may have been maybe some misunderstandings, some issues maybe with people. But when I hear church hurt, it always is also attached to, that's why I don't go to church.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I don't deal with you Christian people. It turns into something that is not loving. It turns into more of a hate kind of thing, or a disregard, or I think that's the best way that I can put it. And it's not it's not a healthy statement. Because the church is not meant to hurt you. And so when we just listen to where God calls us to be, and we are just simply obedient to that, we will see what he sees and do what he asks us to do. So that's why I don't like church hurt. Are you frozen there? Are you there? Oh my goodness. It looks like you're a little froze. I just love my Tami Talk Too Much folks, because y'all have so much patience on our signal here. But I am positive that Ebonee will be back, and then we only have a few more moments to get ready to close it out, but it's been so much fun talking to her. I've been having a great time. Hey, you back?
Terrible. Yes, and you are right. I agree. It does always go back to your ego, really, you know, and how you need to self-reflect.
And it's usually church hurt. Usually is the person hurt. You know, people have so many different hurts in within themselves. And again, I'm not a therapist or a counselor or anything like that, but I've just known enough, and I've experienced certain things enough to kind of know that sometimes we have to self-reflect and really keep our eyes on why we're there, and if we're even supposed to be in this place that is hurting us. Sometimes, you know, we choose a church because it's right on our street, rather than really connecting with and having that relationship and him telling you where to go, because when he tells you where to go, no matter what goes on, you trust him, and you stay focused on what the Lord is telling you to do, and you get through it. And so I think that's why I really don't care for the term. Not to say that people haven't been hurt, but I honestly believe that there is a higher calling on why we're there if you're hurt in a place where you're called to be.
Yeah, and I think that what you were saying goes for life, right? A lot of us may try to reject or walk away from things because we feel hurt by it. But in actuality, you have to figure out a way where you can still find love in the lessons that you didn't like.
It's that stretching of capacity. Because what if you're hurt because you're offended all the time?
Exactly.
And the Lord really has you there to work on your offense.
Sometimes
and so
true.
Until you get over that, you're going to be there.
Exactly.
Or you can drag it to the next place, right?
Yes, and that's the importance of being able to grow and being able to stretch. Yes, everything that hurt you wasn't meant to bring you down. Right.
That's that capacity. Yeah. You know, I firmly believe that the Lord wants what is truly the best for us. And so if we're leaving places, church hurt, if we're leaving places and we don't have a family, we don't have a body, body of Christ in our lives, we don't have believers in our lives, we don't have people that can pray for us and hang out with us and just speak into us, then that's not what God wants for you. And so, yeah, for anybody out there that's going through that, definitely self-reflect on that and really ask yourself and ask the Lord, like, where should I be? Because I should be somewhere where I am getting every bit of what you promised me and every bit of what I'm supposed to have and be.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I want to hear what we got next.
I'm going to say, if you want to hear a poem, come out to my event next week on November 11th.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to just get to it then. So, okay. So we're going to talk about first, before we get to the event, let's find out where we can get your book. Where can we find Humility? Where can we purchase that? And then also we'll get into some other things that you have going on so that people can find you. And then also, I know that you are a mental health counselor, and so where they can, get some more information about that. Just tell us all that good stuff.
Okay. So you can find Humility on Amazon Prime. My Instagram is Ebonee. It's my last name. Well, it's my first and last name. Ebonee_James. You can look right there. EBONEE_JAMES. And it's in my bio. And what else did you ask? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'll link all that information at the bottom when we put that out there for everybody. We'll make sure that we link that information for them. So we have your Instagram, we have where we can get the book, and then if they wanted to contact you with any questions or what have you, or maybe a session, I don't know, but how that goes, but just anything that they needed to connect with you for mental health questions, especially the younger generation.
Yes, most definitely.
Somebody that wanted to talk to you, that information.
So right now I am not accepting private clients.
Right,
I work with families. I work with families that's trying to get their children's counseling and trying to work with that family unit right now. And that's what I like, and that's where I'm growing in, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
But if you need anything, like any questions about where to find a good therapist, some things that you may be experiencing, some thoughts that you may be experiencing, I am open to listening to you and trying to guide you in the right direction. But as far as me, as I say, I'm trying to run away from that title of therapist.
Yeah, you were going to I think you were talking about more of a holistic approach of things.
Yeah, more holistic.
But if they did have questions, before we touch on that, if they did have questions, is there anywhere they can reach you? Should they reach you through Instagram or?
Yeah, you can reach me through Instagram,
through the message
my
part.
LinkedIn.
Okay.
If you are on LinkedIn, just slide in my DMs.
Okay. Well, make sure you message her on Instagram if you have any questions for mental health, if there's anything. And again, she touched on a lot of things. Her book is located on Amazon. Again, it's called Humility. And we'll also link her information so that you can find her at all those places. You also have an event that is coming up, and you want to talk more about that and what that event is about, where that event is located, and any other information, Ebonee?
Sure. So the event is actually a book reading / discussion of my book. I am collaborating with another author, Brittany Martin. Brittany Martin, and her poetry book is called Poetry for People Like Me. So we're going to sit down, discuss each other's poems, dissect them, talk about what they mean. And we're also going to have few people at the end come up and do their own art, perform their own music. So Tamika, if you want to come and perform a song or two, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
Yes, I will be there. I definitely will be there. I cannot wait. I love what you're doing. And of course, I know that it wasn't easy. And some of the things that we all go through so many things. And so for someone who is actually a therapist to go through that period of grief, of loss of people back to back, and then take some time and listen to the Lord. Sometimes we don't always he asks us to do things that is uncomfortable, right? He tells us, no, you can't go to Jamaica, or no, you can't go hang out. No, you can't go to dinner. You have to do this. And it's usually to help somebody else. And so I would love to be there and support you. And I will be there to support you. And I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so grateful that you came on, as nervous as you were. I don't know why, girl. I feel like we had so much fun.
I know. I'm like, dang, I'm just getting open. Like, I'm just getting started. Darn.
No,
But
I
it's
love it. And so I appreciate you coming on, seriously. And I know there are people out there that can just relate. It's okay. We can
Yes,
laugh.
it's
And we
okay.
can have a good time. But we
Don't
can
beat
also
yourself
get some
up.
things done that the Lord has called for us to do. You know, this is our testimonial edition. Again, Ebonee is a therapist and a counselor, a mental health counselor. And I know that you're almost done with your licensee for to be a therapist. So I'm
Yes.
excited about that, to be a licensed therapist.
Yes.
And so that's great for you, and I'm excited for you. And I know that there's so much you want to do. You want to go more so on the holistic approach and get away from what you're doing right now. But I'm so grateful that you're doing it and you're helping people, and you wrote that book. You got it done. And you're able to help young ladies and also share some things that you've gone through. And that's what it is all about. When we overcome certain things and we go back out there and we say, hey, let me snatch somebody else out of the trenches of what they're going through, because I've gone through it and the Lord has brought me out of it, and he's given me enough discernment and enough sense and all that good stuff to be able to help somebody else out. And so that is going
Come
to
on,
do
discernment
it.
and sense.
What'd you say?
I said, come on, discernment and sense.
Discernment and sense. You gotta have both. No, you gotta have a little discernment and common sense too. All that good stuff. Just come on, discernment and sense. I love it. But yeah,
Yes.
so if that's like the same thing, I don't know. But
No, it's not. One has God in
but
it.
it's not what I meant to be the same
Yeah.
thing. Because
Yeah.
you know, it's like discernment. It's like, Lord, what are you saying? And Lord
Yeah.
saying, use your common sense, girl.
Right.
That.
Nah,
So
that was me. I had discernment, but with no sense. So I was just out there doing anything.
you know, we all have been there. We all have been
Yeah.
there, but I definitely don't want to belabor this. And I've had such a great time. Again, it went by
Yes.
so quick. Until the next time, y'all, I will be back. I have a phenomenal lineup for this session, this season of Tami Talk Too Much, of amazing people who have overcome so many things, and they're going to tell us all about some of the great things that they're doing for the kingdom of God. We do this for the Lord. The Lord has changed our lives, and we live for him. And our Lord is Jesus. That's who we live for, and that's
Amen.
who we strive to be like. And so in doing so, we've created this place, this safe place, this fun place to be able to just talk about, glorify him and what it is that he has done for us, and what we're giving back to others for what he has done for us. And so I love y'all. I love you too, Ebonee. It was good. And it was great. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.